they're so far off the reservation that people are going, okay, let me look for answers. And the positive of this, the yin to the yang, or the inverse reaction, it's everything in physics. There's an equal and opposite reaction. The opposite reaction right now of all this godlessness is more godliness. And I think that's actually a beautiful component that you can kind of hang on to. You see a lot of people, myself included, that weren't really massively into God, that now are really going in that direction, not of organized religion, but of, what positive things are out there. What is, how does this all work? How does it all play out? And there's a higher creator, and let me get closer to the good and further away from evil. I think that's the root of what appealed to me, is more good, less evil. How do I get closer to the good and block all this evil? And I think godliness is definitely a great tool for that. I mean, you're more of a Catholic Christian than I am, more of a lifelonger, I should say. Are you seeing that too? Are you seeing new members popping in? Are you seeing?
Oh, yes, that's what I'm saying. People are looking for something, man. They're looking for an answer. They're looking for something to believe in, because I mean, it's so empty out there, and like, I feel lucky that my kids are all pretty squared away, but I also know that they're in a world where by the time they're so fucked up, I will have never seen it coming. The right thing just has to get a hold of you, whether it's drugs, whether it's whatever the fuck it is. So you worry about that.
Well, most of children's personalities are fully developed by the time they're 5. After that, of course, there's influences, and of course, there's various directions you can go with music, taste, fashion, etc. But your core personality is sort of set. And you never stop learning from there if you're smart, and a lot of people are, not smart. But if you raise them right, and you have raised your kids with the foundation of the church, and again, I'm not a church guy, but when you raise them with God, let's just go with that, and you provide those biblical foundations, those are tools to cope. And no matter what type of life you live, you're gonna need to learn to cope, because life will fuck you up. It's not a peaceful little sweet place. Even if you have right now, we live in probably the best period of time that's ever existed for peace in the United States, prosperity, all the different changes. And it's still going to have some issues. And a lot of people can't cope with those. And for people with no coping skills, or people with great coping skills, when you add that biblical layer to it, it just makes you invincible. It makes you untouchable to a lot of these things, which is why communists try to remove that first and foremost, remove religion, because they know that people are much stronger when they have that belief, and much weaker and easier to control when they don't have that belief. So there's a lot of people out there that just don't have belief. They're built that way on purpose, and they've been they think it's their idea, which is cute.
They're built that way, or they're molded that way.
I was gonna say they think it's their idea, which is cute. You know what I mean? They think they were built that way, and they're all independent. That I'm unique. I don't like God. I'm an atheist. Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't programmed into you from school, and that you're very unique. There's nobody like you that thinks that way.
That haircut's unique too.
Yeah, everything about your blue hair, that was very unique. You and the 74 kids with blue hair, all of you are so fucking unique.
You're so deep.
You're so deep. The South Park did a great thing on that, with all those kids that were counterculture, and they were so counterculture that they were absolutely culture. They were so counterculture, they had their own ways, that they were so culture that they could break out of the culture of the counterculture. It was fucking brilliant the way they mocked that. But that's true. Like those people that don't have that, and those people are the weakest and easiest to control. They're the ones that will be raising the Ukrainian flag on one day. They'll be raising the BLM flag the week before. They'll be for Colin Kaepernick, and that whatever the flavor of the day is, no matter how stupid it is, like the Ukrainian flag, from hundreds of billions of dollars to kill millions of Ukrainians and go to World War III. Yeah, Ukraine. Knowing nothing about Ukraine, knowing nothing that Ukraine wasn't even a country 35 years ago. They don't even know that. They know nothing about anything. They don't even know how hot Ukrainian women can be and how annoying they can be. They don't know anything about it, the country, and they'll put those flags up because they are godless and they're easy to control. You can literally throw anything at them on any given day, and they'll forget history. They will repeat what they're told. They don't actually absorb news. They parrot news. They don't think. They're told what to think. And they think they're counterculture, and yet they are actually for every big government and every big company's position because they're told what to think. It's the fucking funniest thing ever. If you're not mad about it, sometimes it's tough not to be mad about it. If you sit back and look, it's hilarious. It's perfect.
This is the most entertaining shit. If you can remove yourself from it,
You
it's
have to. You have to, because you're not going to be able to control it. So you might as well just enjoy it. Just fucking enjoy all these people that's getting mad about stuff.
it's a cliche, but we have a fucking front row seat to the end of the world.
We really do. We're front row to the fall of a greater empire than Rome, with more power than Rome, and we all get to watch it collapse real time with the gender stuff. And we should put this 6'2" man into prison.
People study that shit for years.
We're in a position to watch.
We're watching it happen.
These spoiled people that had nothing to deal with in their lives got bored and started focusing on things to make themselves feel better and to feel important. You can see it, you can see when losers with nothing going on get a purpose with the masks, with COVID. They would shame people with masks. They love to be able to virtue signaling is a certain power for them. So watching losers with the tiniest bit of power, and then you wonder how governments, when you get these losers get more and more power, how they become so evil. You give these losers a little bit of power. Well, who the hell goes into government? Not the winners. Nobody with athletic acumen like you that's a pro athlete, nobody with great minds and abilities, not that you don't have both, but nobody with real ability goes, you know what, I want to be a government employee. What do you want to be when you grow up, little Timmy? I want to work for the Department of Agriculture. Doesn't fucking happen. So these losers, the same losers that would say, put your mask on and eat shit, or get vaxxed, or it's safe and effective, and repeat Ukraine this. Those are the people that get into government, and then they, how does this country get so fucked? Well, those losers get more and more powerful, and collectively, like a bunch of fucking hyena or parasitic animals, microorganisms, jackals. Jackals is great but they aren't as brave as jackals. I almost hate to
I get that.
Hyenas are badass. These people aren't badass. They're like fucking, they're more like fucking microorganisms, that don't individually have any purpose. They're like NPCs that are just built to destroy. And they all work in unison, and they all communicate. All you have to do is give them like a fucking slogan, and they'll be safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective. Hydroxychloroquine is bad. Joe Rogan bad. Everything's bad. Like all you have to do is give
free
them
fucking speech. That's bad.
Yes, no. Hate speech is bad. So they'll, again, one of those slogans: hate speech. Free speech is free speech. They'll try to microorganism down to hate speech. So they'll be given a slogan of hate speech. Anytime you hear a slogan, you're being lied to by a bunch of microorganisms that are just built to destroy.
They've made hate speech anything that disagrees with them.
Correct. And in the meantime, they'll be the first people to tell you that they hope that Donald Trump's kids are burned at the stake.
Right.
That's not hate speech. talking about the Jews being annihilated isn't hate speech, even by
No.
college people and campuses. Talking about the Jews being wiped up, not hate speech. That's until there's an action, it's just sort of, it's gray area. But wait, you're talking about the annihilation of these people and people are actually getting, well, we have to wait till one Jew gets killed. Maybe not one Jew. That's not enough. We have to wait till like a couple hundred of them go. And then we'll be like, you know what? Maybe we should address this in some meetings. That's what's going on with these microorganisms. They're built to destroy, and they're all collectively, mindlessly following slogans to destroy the country. And it's happening before our eyes, and we have a front row seat to it. And the only thing you can do is just pop your popcorn and fucking smile,
It's
because
a fucking Pink Floyd song.
it is kind of it's sort of take some mushrooms, sit back and just fucking watch the trip and be like, hello, hello, hello. Is there anybody in there? Tell me, can you see me? Yeah, you have to just sit there and just fucking trip out to watch it. And every now
Fuck.
and then giggle. And every now and then giggle. Um,
The irony, you giggle every 5 seconds at the irony.
the simulation theory of life kind of makes it's, when you stack that on top of belief with God, it does sort of give you an out to go, okay, this really isn't that meaningful, right? It's just sort of a
Right.
pre-programmed thing. There's a lot of that you have to step away from yourself, your own narcissism, to go, this isn't a big deal, because nobody gives a fuck about you.
Nothing.
Nobody,
Nothing matters.
none of it matters. Nobody's going to look at my life, our podcast. I'm doing this to a large degree so my offspring can have something if something happens to me, and maybe some generation after might, watch this and go, holy
Yeah.
shit, what the fuck mental illness did I come from? But nobody really is going to give a fuck. Even if
Nobody gives a
massive
shit.
celebrity, who's the biggest celebrity? Taylor Swift, right?
No, I do it all the time. Fucking
Nobody
Elvis
would care about
Presley.
Nobody
Nobody
gives
cares about
nobody
him
gives
anymore.
biggest fucking. I mean, I still care a little bit, right? Like
A little bit.
a
A
little,
little bit.
a little bit, but
Nobody gives a shit about Frank Sinatra. Kids my age haven't even heard of Frank Sinatra.
if somebody were to say, dead serious, to most people in this country, if most people that you can have $1,000 cash and Elvis disappears and you can never listen to Elvis or see any Elvis and talk about Elvis ever again for your life, probably 95% plus of those people would be like, I'll take the $1,000 cash. I'll take it right now. 1,000, how about $5 cash? They don't give a shit. And the same thing is going to happen to everybody who thinks they're self-important. Now,
Taylor Swift, Michael Jackson, he's going down.
Michael Jackson